Hello, good people, and welcome to the Amateur Hour. My name's Justin,
My name's Tyler.
I'm the one called Junior.
and today's sponsors are EBXYA and Adam Stone. So, I know you guys are kind of wondering, where has Junior been? Well, I got some exciting news for you. He's here today, and he's back and better than ever. Not that he ever wasn't better.
I don't know about better.
Well, he's here, okay?
I'm here.
As
But
for
now-
Tyler, he's not here. So,
Which is all switcheroo.
yeah, we pulled the switcheroo on you. As for you newer viewers out there, we know you're used to me and Tyler, but say hello to Junior. It's actually supposed to be all three of us, okay? But, you know, stuff happens. You know, the people get busy. I'm not even going to get into it. So, Junior, it's been a while. I'm sure you had life get fairly busy. You've been pondering a few things. What do you got for us today?
Well, I know we were kind of catching up before this. And I was like, I'm kind of burnt out with social media. You're like, yeah, me too. I don't really go on it.
Yeah,
So
social
that's
media
funny.
burnout.
I was just like searching for things to like be able to look at on Instagram, and I was just kind of like, this is really pointless. I'm not enjoying this. So I kind of just like, the lovely thing about Android, you could just take it off your home screen and you don't have to like instinctively open it, click it. So I just tucked them away in the apps. But just like the stuff being posted there is just not interesting when you actually think about it. You're just looking at other people's pictures, and if you don't really know the person, it's like, what's the point? I don't know this person.
Yeah, like you're sort of sitting there looking at their life, and then you like the picture, and then you're like, but why? I found myself in literally the same sort of section. The only reason I'll ever check Instagram is for memes. That's it. It's meme central for me. If I'm on Facebook, it's literally for memes as well. But like half the times, I don't even touch Facebook anymore. I'm on Facebook Messenger, but I'm not on Facebook. Like nah, no, thank you. I think what I felt is I mean, you and Tyler both know I used to post all the time. Not like every day, but I was posting in frequency with some of the posts like on Instagram, like a picture of me and like trying to do something artsy or just simply like a really cool selfie. Or I'm like, I look fire, huh? And I go for this whole post and then to get like 9 or so likes, and I'm like, well, why do they care? And why do
Yeah.
I care that they care, even though they really don't care? That's another thing that in my mindset that actually helped me step away from posting on social media and like going crazy hard into other social media, like looking into them. Was I had this thought that when I posted and I only got like a couple of likes, I'm just like, no one honestly really cares about what's going on. Like, if they really care, they're gonna text you or they're gonna reach out. And I'm not getting any texts. I'm not getting any of these people that are liking my post reaching out. And so I was like, I'm done. I'm like, I'm not this superficial into myself.
Yeah.
You know?
I didn't fully delete all of them just because I was like, some family members do send you that message every once in a while or something. So I was like, I'll leave it up just for now.
Yeah, I've kept my Facebook and my Instagram, but like I said, I don't post on it anymore. The max I post is the Amateur Hour. I post to update whoever follows me, if they listen to our podcast, first off, thank you. But yeah, those individuals who do follow me, like my friends and stuff, I just let them know that a new episode of the Amateur Hour is up every Friday at 9 a.m. Unless schedules change, I'm gonna let them know. Yeah, so I mean, I gotten so tired of social media that we may possibly be having on the Amateur Hour. Someone, you know, behind the scenes helping us out with that sort of thing. Just because it's burnout. I agree. I'm tired of it. Like, to be honest though, Junior, you rarely ever post it anyway.
Oh yeah, no, I was just on there, which I was just about to mention is that's like I got this routine of just like if I had nothing to do, I'm opening my phone, I'm on Instagram, I'm scrolling. I don't care about what I see. I just needed something to, I don't know, take up my time. But at the same time, it's just like I could be doing so much other stuff than just like wasting my time scrolling on nonsense, basically.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
it's this has just kind of been brewing because the more and more, like even on social media or it's just like trends and whatnot that would be on TikTok or something you say, and then just like the influences of just like say Kylie Jenner. It's like, why do we even care about this person? It's not. I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
the
I mean,
whole superstar influencer is just kind of getting weird to me, and just like it's pointless. We shouldn't wrap ourselves up in these famous people, and then it just kind of trickled down into the whole aspect of social media, and I was like, yeah, I don't care about this anymore.
I agree. I mean, it's like you step into this sort of zone and you're looking at like Robert Downey Jr. and you like his post or something like that, right? And it's like, why essentially am I liking his post? Like, is he gonna see it? Is he gonna literally point me out and say like, "Thanks for liking this"? Like, no, he doesn't care. It's some PR rep or whatever. Like, yeah, it's not necessarily. You're not having a one-on-one dialogue with this person, and it's I don't know. It's not interesting. Like, why do I care that this girl put on her bathing suit, right? Like, because you're scrolling through these TikTokers, and let's get into that for a sec. You're scrolling through these, like, for lack of a better term, thirst traps. And they're showing up, showing themselves off, like, look how hot I look or whatever. And you like their post. For what? Is she gonna look at it and then come out the screen and say, "Hey"? Like, I don't think so. They don't need that validation anymore. I feel like, right? You got like a million followers, so why am I gonna validate your bathing suit, for example?
Yeah,
Like, what's the
that's a
point
good
of?
point.
Yeah.
But I never got into TikTok. TikTok to me was just kind of like, I don't get it. It's all these kids doing the same dance or something. I mean, I guess I could see it being funny, but I don't know. Did you notice kind of like when Instagram introduced Reels?
Instagram. Oh, no, I have not actually.
Well, it was a while back, and it was just basically their version of TikTok, and all it was just people dumping all their TikToks onto the Instagram Reels. But like, I would open up Explorer to just be like some chick in a scantily clad outfit doing a dance. I'm like, I don't care about this, and it was like every other video that it would suggest. I'm like, I don't want to see this. I don't care. I'm just trying to look at some motorcycles or something.
You're like, I want to see those new Arc motorcycles that Keanu
Oh
Reeves is making.
yeah, and another thing that just kind of like edged me closer to like getting off of it was one day I scrolled through everything I needed to see. I looked at everyone's stories I wanted to see, and I was like, "What do I do?" So then I just started thinking of other things I could start following, just so I could be wrapped up in social media. And I was like, it just came to a realization. I was like, "No, I shouldn't do this. This is bad."
Yeah, you're like, I'm over it.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I agree. To backtrack and calling, TikTok and all these people thirst traps, I mean, I stand by it. The reason why is because you have these like 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds, and both male and female, showing off their body and stuff like this just to get following. I'm like, why? Just because you look pretty, I get to validate you, and not only that, I don't know, it's inflating their ego, right? It's like, why do we care whether someone looks pretty or not? And
That and just making like cookie cutters of people at this point where everyone's kind of just the same. Everybody's social media is the same.
oh my gosh, can we talk about that? I think that's always been a battle of mine. And I'm glad you use that term because I literally use that term all the time. Talking
Cookie
with my
cutter?
parents, yep. Talking with my friends, I always use cookie cutter or cardboard cutouts because like literally it's the same person every single time. And I feel like we're in this generation of fads, self glam, and having to be perfect, that, and not even just having to be perfect, because I mean you have like, right, like some people consider, right, skinny girl perfect or whatever. So but you do have like the unskinny girl right now posting and stuff, but their characteristics and how they're showing themselves off is literally the same as everybody else. And it's kind of dulling my interest in people out as well. So, like, we go from these posts or whatever, and then I meet this person in real life, and they're the most bland, boring person alive. Or literally, I feel like I can assume certain aspects of their character, and literally, it is the same character because it's like, oh, I've seen that before. Oh, I've seen this before. I've seen that, but it's becoming easy to predict how someone's gonna act, and it's making it more, I think, easy for assumptions essentially. And is that a bad thing? I think so, right? Like we shouldn't be assuming or judging a book by its cover, but this is what's happening to our generation: is that everyone's trying to be the same, or they're trying to be like someone, which in return makes them the same as everybody else. And I don't think we should be glorifying these, thirst traps. Or what I like to call the male version of a thirst trap is a spaghetti head. Because, and this is a
Oh, wait,
quick
wait, wait.
rant,
What? Spaghetti what?
spaghetti heads.
Spaghetti heads. Huh.
You'll probably understand when I explain what a spaghetti head.
All right, all right.
So a spaghetti head is that like pretty boy, the buffish or even thin now, and they got like the sides cut and the top of their hair is super curly.
Okay.
You kind of have an idea of
Yeah,
the
that's what I started thinking about. You could call them ramen heads
exactly.
too.
I find myself on Instagram just like when I see like the video where like they get up close with their like chiseled jaw or something like that, and they're like touching their body all weird
Oh, and
on
they got the
TikTok.
face, right? They got the face. You know what I'm talking
Yeah, yeah,
about.
they got the smolder with their spaghetti head, and their spaghetti hairstyle. And I literally comment on it. I say spaghetti head, and then I have the puke emoji on there. And like I have where the emoji's about to puke, and then I have when he's actually puking. So I post those two on it. And one time, my friend, and shout out to her. She recently got married. Hi, Molly. Anyway, um, I was posting on like 4 in the morning. I was like, spaghetti heads, SMH, pukey face. And my friend messages me, "What are you doing commenting on this post at 4 in the morning?" I was like, "What are you calling me out for? What are you doing up so early?" I thought that was pretty hilarious tangent. I mean, but social media is just become this sort of glorified space where we glorify people that either we want to be or that are Yeah, I feel like essentially it's like sometimes is what we want to be, right? You're seeing this person more successful, you're seeing this person highly attractive, again, like male or female. It's like, and at the end of the day, it's you want to, you kind of like their lifestyle in some sort of way, and you can see yourself being in that position or wanting to be in that position. And I feel like that's a negative outcome because, like I said, then we're all trying to go for the same thing, and I feel like it's a bit shallow, and social media too has, I feel like, opened up this whole medium of people being able to be rude. You have,
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
cause come on, like I posting on this guy's thing, who's over here trying to be Mr. Sexy, Smolders, and I'm over here attacking him essentially for just trying to look good. Because
He's
I
feeling I'm feeling.
generally am annoyed by his character, and I'm leaving this mean post. I mean, it's not nice. He shouldn't be calling people spaghetti heads, but I figured he's got it all anyway. He's got the money, he's got the looks. What do I care? And he doesn't know who I am. He's never going to read this, or um, he's never going to reach out to me, even if he did read this, or like it's not going to hurt his feelings. And I feel like sometimes that's not the case because as of recent, you have all these like YouTubers and people coming out about how all they focus on is these negative comments and they actually don't even read the positive comments. And I'm like, oh, whoops.
Oh, whoops, spaghetti head. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh, spaghettios. And it's like I feel guilty afterwards, sort of being part of that toxic society of being mean on social media. And it's not necessarily a jealousy thing as of why I posted. It's more or less I'm tired of seeing it. So I had to say something. I wouldn't say anything else, right? Like I wouldn't like start calling them other crazy names or uh maybe messaging them to be rude. Like I think that's going too far. Spaghetti, I mean, like I said, even spaghetti head, that's a little mean. But at the same token, it's like I feel like that's the less mean thing that you can say to someone. I mean, I've read some pretty mean comments on there. Like, what I don't like is when people start posting, "Oh, kill yourself," "You suck," "You're a waste of life," and like all this sort of craziness. I think I don't know. I don't understand what's the point of posting that. I then that's, I think, too far. I think the person should stop trying to act all pretty rather than kill themselves. Like why would I tell them? Like, how is that an equal alternative just for them posting on social media or having a different viewpoint than you? Why would I tell that person to kill them? Like
Yeah.
that's
I mean, they don't
that's rude.
necessarily have to stop trying to act pretty, just like do it in a different way than what everyone else is doing, you know?
Yeah, do it in a way that doesn't make me nauseous. Do it in a way where I'm not puking, essentially.
Well, for me, when you first mentioned that you got burnout too, it was just kind of funny to me because I know you would like religiously be on your phone.
Yeah, I was on my phone a lot. I was running through, and I'm not gonna lie, right? I occasionally scroll through, and it's honestly just for memes. I want to laugh, so when I need a quick laugh, I'll look. But am I looking at all these other people's posts and posting on them like my friends or whatever and like liking them? No, I'm over it. I'm so over it. I used to love being on social media and I used to love this idea of engaging and kind of showing yourself creatively almost. And I say almost, the reason being is like, right, like, because there's only so much creativity I can do in being a photographer. But I feel like nowadays, since everyone has a phone and has a good phone, they're deciding, like, oh, you know what? I'm a photographer now. And they start posting all these pictures of flowers and
Food.
of food. Can we talk about all the crazy posts that people do every time in fall season? Like, oh my gosh, look, it's a leaves are falling. I'm
It
over
is
the
beautiful.
yeah, I mean, it's beautiful and stuff like that, right? Because I love fall season, right? Fall and winter and spring are like my favorite three seasons. They're the best. And in the order of actually would go like fall, spring, then winter. But, my point is, I'm getting sidetracked. But like you having all these again similar cookie cutout posts of them posting themselves in foliage, right? Like, oh, like look at this girl's eyes with all these leaves around it. I'm like, dude, I've seen that like a million times over. Or oh, look at these lovely engagement or like cute photos of just us being together, me and my significant other, as the leaves are all around us, like, falling because it's fall time. Or like, oh, we're up against this tree, like, it's so cute, and I'm over it.
Yeah.
Puke emoji, okay?
It's actually pretty interesting because as I was weaning myself off of social media, um I came in when my fiance was watching the new Netflix special called The Social Dilemma. And
Ooh,
in that, it's a pretty big eye opener if you never really thought about what Facebook is doing to try to make you, or Facebook and all the social media trying to, and how they try to make you engage in their app and try to like encompass your life around that app, basically. So I
really?
was like, see, this is why I'm trying to get off of it. But it is funny after watching that and then seeing how I have been on in a couple days, and then it'll send me like 3 notifications, and it just trying to get me to get back in. I'm like, "I don't even care about this person. Why are you telling me they posted an update?"
Yep. And I think they try and get you in so that way, even if you're trying to, like, let's say, for example, clear out the notification, like, through the app, because I hate having that red little bar there. So, like, I literally will I'll click the notifications, and then I'll exit Facebook. But I feel like they're doing that so that way you open the app, and then you're actually like, oh, well, let me look at this. And then you start looking at it. What I find super creepy about Facebook in general is they have I don't know if the documentary covered this or whatever, but they have like this, they have tech where they can listen to keywords in your phone about certain things that you talk about. So like let's say I'm talking about cat food and I'm like, yeah, my cat needs more food or whatever. Literally, it'll pop up on the good old phones, and when you scroll through Facebook, you'll see ads for cat food. I never searched it. I never said anything about it. It literally just shows up.
Man, they're in your thoughts too. Sometimes you just think of something, next thing you know, you got ads for it.
Yeah. So, and like I said, so when I remember this was a big thing. It was even on the news way back when Messenger was an app, like right where it's connected to Facebook, and you can pretty much use it to text all your friends or whatever on Facebook. And I mean I use it right now. But when you download the app, one of the things in their terms and agreements is that they have the ability to look through your camera and look and hear and obviously use your microphone at will, sort of thing. So they're literally looking through your camera, and they're also listening for keywords via your little microphone. You could have your phone on, like, right. I don't have my phone opened right now, but it's probably listening to those keywords so that way it could sell me something, or it
Yeah.
could show me something that is of my interest. Like I said, leaves and fall and stuff like that. And I bet if I open my phone, give it a couple minutes, you're gonna start seeing like these particular looks. Or if I'm saying TikTok, you're gonna see TikTok ads on my Facebook. And I think that one, that's an invasion of privacy. Two, I think from a business perspective, that's very smart, right? Because one thing that is very very important in any sort of business is marketing, and information is power. So the more you know about a person, the better it is for you. So Facebook's literally selling our information to all of these third party um, individuals that, like, let's say for that cat food company, they're selling all this data that they collected on you, and they're giving it to these people and saying, or like for a price, they're like, well, you pay us this much, we're gonna give you all this data that we collected. Like, we have, let's say, 1 million or so followers that need cat food, and we know who they are, and we can market them directly, or directly to them, if you pay us this amount. And then they pay that amount, and there you go. That's how their marketing is. Bada bing, bada boom. They're marketing directly to the people who need cat food, and then they get interested. So it's smart for business, but it definitely, I feel like, is an invasion of privacy. Granted, we are posting stuff. I think the posting in public, whatever, that's up for grabs. You were posting on your app, whatever. But now
Well,
private
also,
messages, and I think, let me finish
yeah,
real
yeah, go for
quickly.
it. Go for
Private messages and your camera, like when you're not even in the app, and your search history when you're not even in the app. Actually, I'm okay with search history, but like reading through your mic and like listening to keywords, I think that's kind of too far.
Yeah, but you're consenting to it. As
Yes.
soon as you download it, you consent to it.
Yeah, that's under the terms and agreements, which is, and it's like, what are you gonna do? Not download it, right? Like, if you decline the terms agreements, then you just can't use the app.
Yeah.
And I find that just insane. One
Well, what I've
thing,
always said is, you know how, well, yeah, you have a Samsung. It'll be like, do you want to allow them to use the mic, this and that? And I'll always be like, no, no, no.
yeah, I do the same thing. I deny every time.
While you dwell on that, I'll just talk about this Netflix special. So it definitely goes into like all the algorithms, but it also even touches on like how it wraps you up in it, and then how it's like even making a bigger divide between political parties, just because Facebook is going to give you what you want to see, basically.
That's another thing. You're putting these people in a bubble, and they're not seeing this anywhere past their own viewpoint. And I believe Facebook themselves, they had to show up to Congress or something like that, the Mark Zuckerberg, and that was like one of the things that he was getting flack for, was the misinformation in political views. So I believe there's oh man, I wish I would have read into it a little bit more, but there's something right now that, again, Mark Zuckerberg had gotten in trouble for allowing all these like false information when it comes to political views. Oh, because I think it was like the whole Russia thing when Trump first was president or whatever. Facebook, apparently, they had all these people that were kind of going in and trying to purposely spread misinformation and start us to like fight and stuff like that, and start this whole ordeal, and they got in trouble for that. Oh, now one thing I was gonna mention was one of the Democratic candidates that was running was Andrew Yang. And one thing that I liked about Andrew Yang is he wanted to add, right, $1,000. He wanted to give $1,000 a month to everyone that was 18. And part of the way he was going to get that money was taxing these big tech corporations, like Facebook, and like who else do we have? We have Facebook. You got Instagram. What's
You just
Facebook?
basically got Facebook.
Yeah, you got Twitter. Oh, you got like these big tech companies. So like Amazon as well. They're all
Google.
using, yeah, and Google. So all these companies are using our personal data and our personal information, again, so they can sell to companies, to their market teams and stuff like that. So that way they have all this sort of metadata based off of our likes, dislikes, and stuff like that. So what he wanted to do was tax these tech companies and pretty much have them pay up all that money because they're using our information. So he wanted them to pay the money that they get that they sell to marketers to us pretty much. Because that's why he believed that we were deserving of the $1,000 is because all these companies are using our data for free and, we're not getting paid for it. I'm not getting paid for looking up dog or cat food as an example. Or I'm not getting paid for the information of me being a male and that they're selling it to all these other people. And I think everyone is deserving of that cut. And I think that's a bit of information that people aren't thinking of. And I think people need that louder voice in social media to say, hey, can you stop looking at this, please? It's just like, I'm kind of okay, right? Because like I have nothing to hide, sort of thing, right? Like it's like, all right, well, if you want to look through my social media, go ahead, look for those keywords. If you want to look through my camera, sure. I'm sure. I mean, I'm on the phone while I'm taking a dump, so it's like you're gonna see me on my phone. Then
It's gonna
you
pull
could
the
say,
rear camera and just see hairy legs.
yeah. With Tyler, you're gonna get the recording of his poo. It's like a throwback to episode 3 of season 1. If you guys want to check that out.
Or they're just gonna get that shot where when you would go to try to take a picture and it's on the front facing, you're like, oh shit, that's close. That's all they're getting.
Yeah, or it's like looking super zoomed up, or they're getting the double chin. Everyone's like double chin looking down. So, like, essentially, that's all they're getting. So I have nothing really to hide. And it's like, so if you want to, like, that's okay. But I personally believe, and I agree with Andrew Yang's sort of statement, is that I'm entitled to some sort of compensation. If you're using my information, I deserve to be compensated for it.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely, because it's like a part of you, you know?
Yeah, I think, and going back again to social media as a whole, I think it is toxic. It's a place that can be really good. Like, for example, if I want you guys to follow our social media over on Instagram and Twitter, the reason being is we get to speak with you guys, right? And we generally do get to look through it. Like I said, we might be having someone managing our social media, but that doesn't mean that, let's say I, for example, am not looking at our social media daily to see, because that's one thing I would look at, because I want to make sure that I'm keeping in communication with the viewership. And I want to see what you guys think of the podcast episode. And I want to update you guys when there's a new podcast episode. So essentially, when it comes to social media like that, when it's being creative, when it's trying to at least just make sure that it's getting like right, connecting essentially. And that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to connect to the community. But when it's like something where it's just like all these crap posts, and it's just like, oh, look at me here, look at me there, I think it's incredibly negative. Like I
Well,
said,
maybe
it,
we need to become spaghetti heads so we could get more
yeah, you
followers
know
on the
what,
amateur
dude?
hour.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I'll work on my smolder. I don't know. I would say like scheme. I say scheme instead of scheme.
Schmoder. Yeah, like I'm gonna I naturally have curly hair. I'm gonna go back to the long hair on top.
Oh, diet. You got to diet.
Yes, I'm gonna
Blonde
get
too.
my blonde tips, make it like nice and ramen noodle looking, We're gonna get it in there. I'm gonna start working out some more, right?
Get it on
And
video. Make sure to get it on
yeah,
video.
and I'm gonna get on video, and I'm gonna be with my shirt off, and I'm gonna look at the camera, and do the smolder, and like, how they like rub their hands together like they're doing something they shouldn't be,
Oh,
like,
and then they do the lick lip?
yeah, the lick lip, and then they do the eyebrow movement, like, what is it, me? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Go follow the amateur hour.
I honestly feel like this is gonna make actually a fun video. that we should probably do in the future.
but not with like any ripped bodies or anything, just
Exactly.
casual.
Let's get Tyler's dad bod. Let's like I kind of want to dye his mustache, like a little bit of the tips. And
Well, they
let's
got the temp dye, so
Hey, listen, we'll do some real cheap dye on her hair and our like mustache, and just like have it, show up. Make sure like we ain't gonna have any allergic reactions, right? And then we so we're gonna dye with this real cheap dye hair, and we're just gonna literally just make a video of like us with like our weird bodies, just like hey. Oh my gosh, that's gonna make for a funny video. So keep a lookout for that. I generally want to do that. But yeah, so my point is like, if you guys want updates, please follow us on our social media because we'll update you guys if we ever do schedule changes. We generally do want to hear from you guys, so please leave comments and stuff. We're a small community as of right now, 35 subscribers strong on the good old YouTubes. And we're close to 200 views on 2 of our episodes. So first off, thank you guys for listening. And please subscribe and hit that notification bell.
wow, man, sounds like you're ending the show.
But, right, we want you guys to sort of comment, leave questions, leave topic ideas if you guys want us to talk about certain topics. And
Do you want to see Tyler doing the smoldering face?
Yeah, with his dad bod. Like, this is going to be, I mean, we had a conversation like that. Tyler was becoming a dad. I think it was that season 1.
Yeah.
We're like, dude, it was a dad selfie. He did a selfie on Instagram. You guys can see it. It's on Instagram. He did a selfie where he looks like a good old dad. He was just total dad pic. I think with that said, though, we want to start this little community, and have this engagement with you guys. And yeah, we're gonna toss this over to a quick sponsor. So I hope you guys enjoy that word from our sponsor. I often find myself wondering, what's next? What lies ahead? Where do I go? How far will I go? We often think about tomorrow, but what's the point? What's the point of not looking at what we have in front of us? Why not look to the present and be grateful? Why do you run from today? What difference does it make if everything you have today can be gone tomorrow? So I urge you, live for today. Search EBXYA on Amazon today to get all of your XLR cable needs. Link in the description. And we're back from that word from our sponsors. As usual, guys, gotta let you know that if you want to follow our sponsors, the links are in the description for EBXYA and Adam Stone. And go check them out. They're absolutely wonderful, okay? As well as, please don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter to get all the notifications for when we're going live. If we're having to push back a date, if someone's gone, we will let you know on our social media. So please follow us over on Twitter and Instagram. And if you're on YouTube, give us a subscribe and hit that notification bell so that way you're also getting all the notifications when all the new podcast episodes are up.
Yeah, so it's spooky season now. But with that, it's also phone season.
Oh.
But like primarily iPhone and Pixel, which I kind of forgot about. So I remember the other day I was just kind of scrolling through the news and the new Pixel popped up and I was like, huh, interesting. Let me check this out. Because I don't know, I've always been intrigued by Pixels. But with that too, I was like, wait, I think the iPhones are coming out. And I actually caught the live stream at the time it was presented. So that was interesting, I guess. I want to say cool, but I don't know. I don't like Apple.
Yeah. So iPhone. it looks like the iPhone 4, right? Like, aren't they
Yeah,
going with that new squared style?
I think so. Yeah,
That
I
was
can't
like,
really remember
it
the
was
whole
like
pictures,
with
but
the iPhone and like the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 5. From what I remember, was like that weird style where it was like 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 flat, like on the
yeah,
edges.
yeah. That's how it's going. But
Okay.
I'll give Apple props that the live stream event was pretty cool. It wasn't bad. The way people talked was definitely, I don't know if it was like the cadence or like just the way they presented it or what. It just sounded a little off to me, but whatever. I get it. They're probably reading prompts.
It was like super fake. Like, all right, well,
Yeah, it
uh,
just didn't feel as genuine, I guess.
they're like, in look at our new design, and everyone's like, well, that's kind of like the old design.
Yeah. I mean, I think I opened it up where I said I hate Apple, but I mean, I do have a Mac, so I guess I can't talk too much crap.
I mean,
But
their Macs are
iPhones.
okay. I still would think a ThinkPad is nice. What I do like about Apple is you have audio hijack and you have GarageBand, the two things we use for this podcast that actually run really well. Because Audacity, let's be real, folks, it's hot garby, okay? I don't enjoy it. It's super clunky. It's not smooth. It's just it's a poor version of Pro Tools. I like Pro Tools, obviously. It's an industry standard when it comes to radio and even just music in general. But GarageBand to me seemed to be more fun. More fun, more intriguing, more interesting to use. I like the simplicity of it, especially for editing a podcast. Because a lot of times you're adding music, you're cutting out certain things, certain noises, so you don't need anything too in depth. So I like the simplicity of it, and you can export on a pretty high wave file. So again, that we record on uh, GarageBand, and I think I like Mac for that reason, and I like their little taskbar. Junior, you have the one with the taskbar, right?
Yeah, with the touch bar.
Yeah. Do you utilize
Yeah.
that a lot?
Uh, very rarely, to be honest.
I think I would use it a lot if when I was editing, because I could imagine having the cut there or the record there. That record button, you just click it and then it just have it record on itself. Why don't we have
Yeah, that's
you?
what
Oh,
I was.
jeez.
I don't know. I was gonna say that I could see that this touchpad actually coming into play when you're actually using apps on your computer and whatnot.
Yeah. Are you using it strictly for work?
Not anymore, because I mean, I was using it a lot during college, and then I got it, but now I just kind of use it to look up vacations or something, do some online shopping because I need the top of the line, make sure those pages load.
You're like, I need to see Gap website or something.
Yeah.
I agree with Apple's stuff. So, what did you like about anything? Did you like about Apple's new showcase in particular when it came to their phone, or are they
Um,
adding new Macs or anything?
well, this one was just primarily for, I believe it was the iPhone and maybe one other thing. I can't really remember because they had two this year. They had one earlier that was more like the other products, and then um, this one recently that was for the iPhone. But I'll tell you what, man, they're really leaning into that Lightning port, which every other device they have just uses USB-C. So I don't get what they're trying to prove.
Yeah, why? I don't know why they just didn't make the switch at this point. Well, Apple's just trying to make money. Let's be real.
Yeah, and it was kind of funny because at some point in the presentation they were talking about the USB cord that they're gonna provide in the box, which I'll get into what's inside the box because it's actually kind of funny. But the USB cable they're providing, it's a Lightning to USB-C, and they're like, yeah, USB-C is this and that, it's great, blah blah blah. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, but then you just like bottleneck it with the Lightning port you put in it.
Oh my gosh. So like okay, so it's going to be USB-C with the lightning port as well?
Yeah, so the wall adapter is gonna have a USB-C,
Oh my
a wall
gosh.
adapter that you will have to buy.
Yeah, but
So
couldn't you just
with
use like the Pixel one, right? Like with the USB C.
yeah, yeah, but Apple, to help the environment, they're not gonna include the headphones and the wall adapter anymore.
Really?
Yeah, so the reason they're doing this is to cut down on waste. They say everybody throws out their power adapters. Meanwhile, I'm trying to hold on to all of them, and I seem to never have enough. But so they're trying to make the boxes smaller so they can ship more and it'd be more cost effective because then you had to do less trips to ship more, basically. But to me, it seems like a load of bull crap.
Yeah, it sounds like a load of malarkey to me, man. There's no way that they're deciding to go green right now. I don't feel. I don't know. Are they? Are they not? Like,
Well,
I'm curious about like their factory sort of, works.
I think it was that Apple Park they have now or something. They're trying to they have solar panels all on the top and they're trying to make it have as little waste as possible by the end of the year and then by 2030 or 50. I should have really taken notes, to be honest. Because now I feel like I haven't even watched it. But yeah, they're definitely trying to cut down on waste. How about them jobs in the US or something too, you know?
Right? They're like, nah, we just do China. It's cheap labor. Okay, so what about the Pixel? Because listen, the Pixel 4,
This is
it was
yeah,
like they added the little telegraph thing, right? They did the multiple camera thing, which I could care less about because I liked the original Pixel 3 camera, best camera that I've ever had. The Pixel 3 speakers, super solid speakers. I loved it. One thing I hated about my Pixel,
drum roll.
the battery life. What's new? Get us up to date here with this Pixel 5. What intrigued you?
Well, the first thing that caught my eye was the fact that it doesn't have the notches on it. Because you remember that from the old one?
Yes, I
It was a
hated the
bigger notch
notches.
than an iPhone. And so that was the first thing that caught my attention. I was like, okay. And then I saw that sort of sage, I think is what the color's called. I was like, ooh, that's a nice green. So I was mostly going off of looks at first. And then I watched the iPhone reveal. And then I was like, you know what? Let me see if Google had one. And then I ended up just trying to watch like some YouTube videos. I think what's that guy's name?
Oh yeah,
Marquis Brown.
Marquise Brownlee.
Yeah, he had a video. I guess his got shipped all late, so he doesn't have like an in-depth review. Unbox Therapy just did one also. But with the Pixel, they're not trying to be like $1,000 phone. You know how everyone's like, "Oh, let me get the best processor in this phone." Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Pixel is just like keeping it chill, and I think they're trying to keep it around like the $700 mark.
really?
So yeah, you lose some of the stuff. Like I believe there was an image processing unit that they had on the phones, but they're no longer gonna do that. So I don't know how that's gonna affect the quality of the pictures anymore. Might not be as fast because they don't have that separate unit to do it. But I mean, I'm sure the processing software is still there that they're using to make those great photos.
Are they still having those solid front-facing speakers, or did they get rid of those?
Um, can't remember off the top of my head, but something tells me they're doing the vibration on the glass to
Uh,
hear. So it might just be the bottom one now.
I mean, I am a big fan of the pinhole. Like, I love that sort of look to both the Samsung and now if Pixel is bringing it, like that's super exciting. And that green, by the way, listen, if everyone knows my favorite color, I love green. Part of the reason I got my Pixel 3 phone in white was because it had that green mint green side button. And now that I decided that I'm going to stick with my Galaxy S10 for a while, they decide to freaking add a green colored phone. I love the Pixel so much, bro. I honestly, out of all the Samsung and iPhone, like my favorite style of phone was the Pixel because they also had that frosted glass back, and it felt super nice on the back of it. I mean, the IP rating too for it was decent. I think it was like 68, just like all the other phones. The speakers, like I said, they were absolutely wonderful, just beautiful to hear. The charging was fast, but again, the battery, one, it would get too hot quickly. Like at the time, I was always like using Facebook Messenger to FaceTime my ex at the time, and it was always overheating. I would always get like notification your phone's too hot, whatever. Okay, and then we'd use Google Duos, and it wasn't as hot, but then my phone would still get hot, like if I touched it with just my hand. And I got tired of it, so I said, you know what? I'm gonna give it up for a nice, lovely Samsung. So one thing I did have a question for is like, are they having the Pixel phone like a new release every year, or
Yeah, I think for the most part they have a new phone every year.
because in that
Uh,
case,
the
I'll just
first
hold
one,
off.
yeah, the first Pixel, I think they might have waited like a year, maybe 2 years or so before they actually came out with the next one. But I believe they've been doing yearly now. They also came out with the Google Pixel 4a 5G, I believe. But I was more intrigued by the Pixel 5, so I didn't really look up too much into the 4a. Just same thing with the Samsung phones, how they have all those like A20s and whatnot. I don't know too much about them, but I think they're just kind of more of like where you don't have to get the top of the line flagship. It's just like a good middleweight phone, I guess you could say.
Are they still doing OLED for their screen?
That I don't know. Do you
Ooh.
still have the page picked up? Because I know I told you about it and you had to
Let me
go
see
check out
here.
those
Let me see.
colors, right?
I love the like the little OS for it. That works really well. What's the screen size too? Do you happen to know that as well?
No, not off the top of my head. I should be more prepared for this.
You know what? I'm just used to Tyler. You know, he when he comes in with tech, like he's like, oh, it's got this and this and this, and it's all right. We'll go with the flow. So it's 8 gigabytes of RAM, um, and it's 128 gigs storage. That's really good.
But that's kind of like common now.
Yeah, like that's like our phones now. Holy moly! It's got a 4,000 milliamp battery. What's our battery for our S10?
I think it's like 3700 maybe or 32.
Wow, a 4,000 milliamp battery. That is good then. Because this one lasts me like all day. So let alone having a
Especially without that social media.
yeah, finally they increased the Forsaken memory life. Jeez. And they got the pinhole. Oh my gosh. I'm going to want to buy a new phone. Okay, okay. Here we go. So it's still OLED. What? And the screen size is a 6.0, so like ours is like a 6.4, right?
I can't even tell you, man.
Yeah, I think our okay, so our phone I believe is a 6.4, and it also is OLED.
Smooth
Uh
display.
wow. My gosh, this is a good phone.
If you're not one of those people that has to have like the top of the line best that's out there now, I think so because I think it does what it needs to do, if that makes sense.
And it's the same camera as Pixel 4. So
Yeah,
nothing new with the cameras. So same thing, but you know what? I trust I trust their cameras.
which is more software, and you can actually get that software on your Samsung. It's just you got to download like one of those APKs, and then you got to install it.
And you
I
get stock Android. So, oh my gosh. This sounds like a really good phone. I'm tempted.
I was about to say you're tempted. I was tempted too, to be honest. I was like, I have had this phone for a while, but I
Yeah.
think when I think about it, I've only had it for like a year and a half, or maybe a little more than a half.
Yeah, you had it like I think a year over mine. Cuz remember I think I got mine cuz when you got your new phone, I think I went with Pixel. And then we were talking how we both went with white or like that white color look.
Yeah.
And then I was
Then we
gonna
met
get the
at the
Pixel
Pizza Hut.
4 because then I was complaining about the yeah, when we met at the And then I was like complaining about the the Pixel 3, and I was gonna get the Pixel 4, which they had awesome colors. Like I love the colors of their phone, but it just wasn't different enough to like justify getting
And that
another
notch,
Pixel.
man.
And it had the notch, so it was ridiculous. And then I decided to get the Samsung. I said, you know what, I'm gonna trade in my Pixel. And now I kind of wish that I would have waited because I don't know, but you're right. You know, you're right. You're right. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna trust your judgment too. You ain't jumping to it. I ain't gonna jump to it yet, but it's tempting, man. Like it's a
Well,
nice
we'll
phone.
see. Because I see rumors that a new Samsung Galaxy model could come out in December or January, and uh, definitely been thinking about maybe switching over plans.
Really,
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I'm
Might get a
tempted.
family plan going.
To be fair, okay, here's an update. So remember how I had the Galaxy S8 and then I got the Pixel in return? So when I got the Pixel, when I had gotten the Pixel at the time, uh some sad sort of I guess update towards that whole thing. The Galaxy S8, I guess it has a heating problem because remember it does this OLED thing where it would burn like an image in the screen
Oh
because it would
right.
heat up.
I had the keyboard stuck on my screen.
I
Like I
had
could see faint pictures of it.
I had an old like YouTube video burned in the frame of it. So I'd given the Galaxy S8 to my dad because like that didn't really bother him too much, and it wasn't that bad. It was just slightly tinted yellow. And so I gave him the Galaxy S8, and now the thing heated up so much that the phone's like adhesive that they use for it. It
Oh
burnt
wow.
off the adhesive of the back, and now it's flapping. So the phone can talk now.
Wow.
So yeah, so now the phone can talk, and I feel really guilty. I feel really guilty because now this phone, like I said, like it's moving, it's got a mouth of its own, and I'm tempted now to like want to give my dad this phone and then me get this new phone. Cause like
What?
he's got a broken phone. Like what the freak?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, at least it's needed in a way.
I give a new phone with a new charger. I give him the full package. I ordered a new case, and now I'm thinking of canceling. Oh my gosh, dude! I'm just tempted. Like it's such a freaking nice phone, man. It looks. I love the Pixel. That's the thing. I love the. I gotta probably watch
It's
a
just
little bit
something
more
about it,
reviews.
man.
I
It's
tell you,
just
man. If you ever thought about getting into the Pixel, I suggest it. It
it's
was.
a very inviting phone, just like, especially when they had the commercials out and it just seemed fun, you know?
It's simple. It's so simple. I want. Do they still have their feature where they're like, take a selfie? Like it was like,
I don't
take
see
a
why they would
selfie.
get rid of that just
It
because
was it was a cool feature. I would have fun with it. And then with the wide zoom, where like you could take multiple people like pictures with like a whole group of people. I thought that was cool. But it doesn't look like they have the double cameras in the front, so I don't know if they have that anymore
probably
with their
not.
selfie camera.
But they did get rid of squeezing it to activate Google.
What? They did.
Yeah. Because this
Why?
is it's a metal body now.
Oh. Okay. So is the back that soft glass though? Cuz it looks
No,
like
but it
it.
still has that like texture to it.
So it's a whole metal box. It's not a glass back.
Yeah, if you watch that unbox therapy video, he does. I haven't seen his videos in a while, but he's doing like a almost like an ASMR where he's peeling off the plastic and then he rubs the back and you could hear it. It sounds what you would want, basically.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give that a look and give this some thought for sure. But 700, you say, huh?
Yeah,
That's not that
which is
bad.
It's a lot, but it's not that bad, especially when iPhones are coming out
Yeah,
with
with
like
all these new flagship phones, you're getting $1,000. Like mine was close to like $900. And I was like, I don't want to spend that much. Like, it's insane. I mean, I had to give up my Pixel in order to, to have the ability to afford this one at the time. And so now to have this $700, I mean, it's like I remember for the Pixel 3, I think I paid 900. So to have this even less and to be $700, whew, I don't know. I
that's
might do the switch.
and it's tempting, especially because like the flagships are getting more expensive. And I'm starting to think now, it's like I really don't push my phone to its max, you know. I just use it to maybe search. I definitely search on Google a lot. That's like my
Same.
thing. That's my social media where I just click Google and I'm searching just random shit all day.
It's the same goes for me, man. Like, no, dude, I'm generally thinking of getting this. Like, cause if you think about it, all my contacts are under, I think they're under Google too. They're under the Samsung app. You can get the Samsung app. I believe you could download it on there and just have update all your contacts. Or literally, I can have it saved to Google or whatever and literally move all my contacts over. My notes, I just download Samsung Notes on the Google Pixel. I have all my notes saved in the cloud. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. I got all my notes. Pictures, just have them saved to the cloud. It was like it's super easy too. So when I had my Pixel to my Samsung, literally I just plugged in one end of my Pixel to the other end with my USB-C, and it transferred actually everything for me automatically. Like I didn't have to save anything, move anything, nothing.
Yeah, I
And
think
it
that's gonna
transferred
be
all my apps too.
yeah, I think that's gonna be like a standard Android thing. I think it's when you try to go from Android to iPhone is when it's just like who knows what goes on with that, you know?
Exactly, and that's why I'm saying I might just get it. Honestly, in all honesty, for the sake of my dad. Or I might even give this phone to my whoever kind of calls dibs on it. I just might give them the phone.
I think I'm just gonna miss if I were to switch. I think I'll miss the round edges on the galaxies because it just pulls you in. It's just like a nice,
Oh yeah, 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 like an
yeah,
infinity sort of loop. You're right. I do. That it's a flat screen, isn't it? Oh my
yeah. I'm
goodness.
almost positive it is.
It's
Lots of
rounded. It
things to
it does have
consider.
some side bezels. I see that. It's a little bit side bezel, but to be honest, as long as you got the pinhole though, you got a full screen. I feel like this guy though that's like buying phones every year.
You kind of are though.
I am, but it's like I'm trying to find my phone, like the one I
Trying to
want,
find the
like
one.
the one. And the Pixel 3 I thought was the one. It felt like I said, the only reason I gave up my Pixel 3 was because it had
It was about to
overheating
blow up.
problems. Yeah, it was going to blow up. That was it. I loved the screen. Even I mean, I did kind of wish there was more screen, but I loved it for the most part. It felt nice in the hand.
But yeah, let me touch on this one iPhone feature I think is a big gimmick, but it might work out in the long run. Like I could see it being useful. So with your laptop, what kind of charger do you have? Is it the MagSafe?
I have the classic, good old fat.
And it's a magnet,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It
yeah, the
snaps
magnet.
in. It's fantastic. I don't know why they got rid of that for especially like the newer high end ones. I mean, I guess I get it because USB-C will transfer faster. But just being able, if someone were to kick that cord or trip over it, it just pulls out. It's not gonna yank your laptop everywhere.
Yeah,
So this iPhone on the back on the wireless charger, they put a magnet. So this is gonna fix the problem you might have even noticed where you go to set your phone on a wireless charger and you kind of miss the right spot. It'll just snap right into it, just right there. And with
really.
that, yeah, which yeah, I can see that coming in handy. But also they're gonna use cases with a magnet so it just snaps onto the back. I think they have a wallet. You know how like people nowadays have like that little sticky pad on the back of their phone, and they'll use it as a wallet. They're selling that, and I guess none of this is really supposed to interfere with the wireless charging. Maybe not the wallet part, but the cases aren't supposed to affect it,
I
which
mean,
is kind of cool.
that's some
It's
that's some interesting stuff. I
it's a
mean,
gimmick, but it might work out in the long run.
it sounds, yeah, it is a bit gimmicky, but I mean, it sounds fairly interesting, like a really cool innovation that they're doing. So like I give kudos to Apple's for some innovations, but for the most part they're the same, and I don't know. I'm just sorry, dude. I keep thinking about this Pixel.
Yeah, I can already tell. You're like, yeah, makes it. That's cool. But this pixel, oh, that's so bad.
I'm like, oh, you nice Pixel.
Oh,
Like,
you come in a green, a sort of sage. Oh,
dude, like, I mean, come on, my favorite color. You can't. I just, I miss it. I generally miss it.
wait for at least a sale or reviews to come out, and then let
All
that
right,
determine for you.
all right.
I
Well,
might do the same.
I'm gonna keep my. See, here's the thing: is like the new Xbox is coming out too,
Oh yeah,
and that thing's gonna. It's like a PC. It's like a PC, pretty much. Me and
that's
Tyler.
not a PC.
I know, but we ran through the specs, and that specs literally now all the specs for both Xbox One and PS5 can actually compare to spec levels of PCs. So in that regard, like that's awesome. But honestly, I don't know. I might wait for the new Xbox because there's not a lot of new games that has caught my attention. You got Halo, which is gonna be cool. Um, and that's it. Like there's nothing new right now for video games that I would want to see in like crazy graphics and stuff right now. I did get like the new Call of Duty, right? I got the new gen COD. When you buy COD, it comes with a copy for here and a copy for new gen. So when I get the new gen Xbox, it'll be the fully upgraded graphics and everything. But I don't know. I just might, depending on if, yeah, I might ask the family, hey, does anyone want this phone? Because if they do, I generally just might get this new Pixel and then
I
give
mean,
someone
if you're
else my
really just
phone.
trying to just get it, maybe you just approach it with, "Hey, does anyone need this phone?" And if
Yeah,
they
that's
say
what I'm saying.
need, you're like, okay, they need this phone. I guess I'll need to get a new one.
Exactly. Exactly. Because to be honest, my mother's running on an iPhone 6S. My brother, iPhone 6S. My dad, Galaxy 8S or S8 with falling off background. So it's like, and but he's Mr. Fix It, right? Like he can fix this phone easily. Like right, he just buys another adhesive, kind of fixes that. Not any old glue, but the more specific adhesive, and puts it on the phone. Simple as that. He's fixed. He's fine. But now you got my mother and my brother. They're stuck with the same old phone. And if not, I mean, I could always trade this phone in. I mean, like, wait for the other one to come in, transfer all my contacts, get the new thing, send this bad boy in. I'm sure. You know what? Do they do trade ins?
They'll probably do it eventually. That's what I'm saying. Wait for at least like a deal to pop up.
I wish they had more colors, though. I'm disappointed that it's just green and black. I mean, I'm going to go with the green for sure if I get it. But,
Yeah,
like,
we're always on the same page. We're like, that's the color I want, and then we show up
yeah.
with the same color.
Yeah. Can we talk about that for a minute? For some reason, I mean, not that it's bad, but it's the same style. And this is how you know, like, we're not generally, we're not trying to, like, copy one another. It's like one of these things where I remember I got my white Pixel, you got your white Samsung. And we literally, like you're saying, we showed up at Pizza Hut one day. We were hanging out, just chilling, and then we're like, "Wait, you got white too?" Yeah, I got tired of the same old, same old.
Well, the Pizza Hut situation, I think that's when I first saw you with your S10, and we're like, oh, we both got the
Oh
Galaxy
yeah,
White.
And then we got the S10s, and I was talking about I was gonna get the white ceramic back, and you got the white pearl back. That little look to it, the glass one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I wanted the ceramic back so bad, but they weren't selling it. It was like sold out, and I was like, "Gosh dang!"
Yeah, I think it was like a special one with like a
Yeah, and then they
bunch
had a
of
green one
memory.
too. They had one that had a green back too, but that was the special one, I think, only for Verizon. And I was like, "That's so stupid." And then they had a blue one. I wasn't looking, but anyway. So we normally have around the same style. I think even when we think of like colors for clothing, it's like I freaking decide to get flannels. I don't see you for a while. All of a sudden, we're like flannel guys. It's like I just find that funny that it's like something that always happens. And I mean, now it's just like with the first thing I seen, I was like, they got green. I was like, and you're like, yeah, I was looking at that. And I was like, mm-hmm. It's just I find that's a little funny tidbit about our friendship is that we always end up having the similar style. Now
I think S8. Did you get the coral one?
I got the purple one with the
Yeah,
like purplish background.
I think I wanted the purple one, but you ended up getting the purple one because you said you didn't want to match the same color as me.
Yeah. it's it's always this thing where we just like we're like always on that same page of style. Like the only person that is like off the cuff is Tyler. He's the only other guy like he's got his own unique sort of style that doesn't always like not align with ours, but like just isn't in the similar ballpark. So I don't know. I just find that a hilarious tidbit about our friendship, as mentioned before. But with that said, we got to toss it over to our second break. We're going to talk about some more interesting stuff after this word from our sponsor. Adam Stone, a unique and talented artist hitting the alternative rock scene. Listen to him as he jams his way into becoming a new hit artist.
I am bringing you down. I'll take you off your chair, setting fire what's left from your hair. Someday. Listen to Adam Stone singles for free on Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Surrounding me. I don't know why I was chosen to live like this. Every day, every day, every day. I don't know why you can follow your favorite ghost, Adam Stone, on Instagram and Facebook. Link in the description.
And we're back from our sponsor. Again, all sponsors are in the description below, but you already know that. I already explained it like 3 times today. So I won't bother you guys anymore with that. Let's get into the topics at hand, okay? Junior, now when you weren't here, I was asking Tyler, like, what are your current favorite shows? What are your current movies, music? What are you into now? What's going on? It's been a while.
What's going on? Recently we just like last night we just finished The Haunting of Bly Manor, which wasn't as good as The Haunting of Hill House, but it was still decent. I'm not one for scary movies, but just the story I think helps move it and not make it as scary. There's a line in this new season or whatever you want to call it that kind of explains why I don't find it as scary, but I won't give it out. As far as movies, I haven't really seen anything, to be honest.
Really? Just that documentary,
Yeah.
The Social
Oh,
Dilemma.
right. Well, I kind of walked into that and I was just like, yeah, let me check it out.
You're like,
So
it was
here, watch it.
there.
Yeah, basically. Oh, I finally saw Us.
Oh, what did you think of it?
I thought it was pretty well. I could see how people could be upset with it and not think the ending was that great. But once you read into it, I think it's got a lot of layers to it.
Yeah, I thought it was a unique sort of take on its themes that it had. And I was a twist ending. I wasn't expecting it. I mean, they kind of got to it a little bit early on in the
Yeah.
story, but I liked it a lot. I thought it was absolutely amazing. I wouldn't say amazing. It wasn't the best. I would still say Get Out is a million
Oh, that
times
was a
better.
fantastic movie.
But I think we seen that one together, right?
Possibly. Um,
I think.
but
Yeah.
once you start learning that it's kind of based on the social classes and all that, and just the layers that I was talking about, you're like, okay, that's actually a good movie.
Yeah. It was fairly intriguing and just insane to think about, and like how it was at the end of the day when like they're doing all the killing and stuff, it was mainly that they're just trying to get their to be heard. They get their voice heard too. And I thought that was pretty crazy as well.
Spoiler alert, jeez.
Oh yeah, oh spoiler. I'm sorry. When we well, okay, what about music? Have you been hopping on some new music? What you got going?
New
I know you're a
music,
man of music.
yeah, new releases not so much. Definitely just been listening to like a lot of jazz, a lot of older 70s like R&B slash I guess psych rock, maybe like a blues rock, funk rock. I don't know how to explain it, but just like Funkadelic's second album and third album, which are Free Your Mind and Your Ass Will Follow and Maggot Brain. They feature Eddie Hazel, who you could think of him as like a funky Jimi Hendrix. So it's just, I don't know. That's all I've really been listening to. The Isley Brothers, or I probably said that wrong. Isley, however, I don't know how to say it. But that's another old group that I just been listening to most of their albums from the 70s, who their younger brother actually picked up um, playing guitar and he taught himself. And yeah, he's deserves whatever recognition he's gotten in his life because he's a pretty fantastic musician.
Yeah, see, that's what I like. You got this open taste with music. You're not just like, yeah, I listen to rock and rap. Like it's rock, rap, jazz. You get into all sorts of different types of music. And I think especially nowadays, I think it's important to just be open to all these different bits of and pieces of music itself. I
Yeah.
think that would be it's so limiting to just listen to one type of music. As for music I've been kind of into, Joji. He had a new album and I'm just have you listened to Joji? You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think his last album, not the one that just came out, but before that, I I remember seeing him in some interviews and everything. He had a Hot Ones interview. That's what it was. And
Yes.
they brought up the question, or they brought up the fact that he kind of started the whole Harlem Shake trend. If
Yes.
I know you know that one.
Yeah.
And but then he started talking about he was doing music, blah blah blah. And I was just like, man, why do all these influencers want to do music? I don't know. It's just like it makes me think of Backpack Kid. You remember the kid that would floss?
Yeah, yeah.
He had his own EP come out. It was like 3 or 5 songs. I can't remember. And it was all whack.
Oh
But
god.
so I kind of signed Joji off. And then one day I was listening to the Pollen podcast on Spotify and they played a Joji track. And I was like, oh, this is pretty good. Who is this? And it might have been, what's it called? Slow Dancing in the Dark. Can't
Yeah, that
remember.
was a popular one. I think that was even around the time. Was that around our high school, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I feel like that one has to be like maybe 2017, 2018. I could be wrong. But
Yeah,
I
no.
did listen to his new album and it reminded me a lot of Omar Apollo, who is actually featured on there.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Which I think I've played you Omar Apollo a couple times.
Probably.
And yeah, he's from the region. And he actually just had a new EP come out. I don't know what they want to call it, mini album, whatever, but it's maybe about 7 songs. It's pretty solid.
Ooh, I gotta check him out. I gotta get him more in depth with him. But because if he's the style of Joji, then hey, I'm all on board. Joji was like, I found out he used to also be Filthy Frank. I don't know if you've ever heard of Filthy Frank.
Maybe.
He's like part of the meme where it's time to stop, and he's got like a big clock. And Pink Guy, which again started at Harlem Shake. So Joji started there, and he actually used to do comedic like rap tracks with Pink Guy, this like character that he had uh, for that sort of portrayal. And so now to see him do actual music, and I didn't know Dancing in the Dark was him either. I found out after the fact where I was like, oh, wait, that was him? I was like, what? And I really wasn't too into that song. Reason being, it was too mainstream for me. And I was like, eh. But now knowing that he had a mainstream track, I kind of have like a little bit more admiration for him. Like, he did good, right? And with this new album, I heard what got me back into him. I heard Run. On YouTube. I heard him like back on Jimmy Kimmel, and I was like, let me check into him a little bit more. And when I heard that song, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a dope album. And then Give Me Love, and just so many of the tracks on there that I absolutely just loved. And I ended up buying it. I bought the album right away. I get all my music like on Amazon. That's like stuff that I want to continuously listen to. And yeah, I got that track pretty quickly. He did such a solid job. I'm
Yeah,
blown
I'd say
away.
it's a well-rounded album. I only gave it like 2/3 listen, maybe, just because I was driving to work and I put it on, but it just wasn't filling the mood I had. So I ended up changing it maybe more than halfway through, or I might have finished it. I can't remember. But
Yeah,
I thought it
just
was solid. It just wasn't in the right mood for it.
yeah. He's good job to Joji. As for shows, I've been watching, and yes, you've guessed it, The Boys
Oh,
season
hell
2.
yeah.
Oh
I
my
forgot about that.
gosh. I have you seen season 2?
Oh, yeah.
You finished it entirely?
Yep. I finished it entirely.
Amazing. I loved the boys. Great comic books,
It's
first off.
it's amazing, but it does feel a little overdone in some places. You know what I mean? Just like too extra at times.
Whoa. And that's the thing is it's extra, but like wait until you get into the comics. Like,
Oh, yeah, I know the comics are even.
yeah, they
Did you
get even
did you read
super
them
extra.
or
I read a couple online, and then I watched a lot of overview videos because I was like, the boys are a comic book. I want to know where they came from. So originally it was from DC. It was these individuals pitching to DC, and those characters you see were actually supposed to be like the Justice League. It was supposed to be this
yeah.
crazy take on the Justice League. They thought, you know what? That's too crazy for us. No, thank you. I'm like, what? The DC's normally dark anyway. Like, freaking Joker cuts his face up. I'm like, okay, whatever. So they didn't want to paint those characters in a bad light, so they said no. And then that's when those individuals creating the boys decided, okay, then we're gonna do something with different characters. We're gonna revamp this, and we're gonna go with other publishing company, which I think was they're still affiliated with DC. Something along the lines of that. If I'm wrong, I'm sure you'll correct me in the comments. That's like the sort of backstory of it. But those comics, yeah, I wanted to look up the backstory. I looked up the story itself to see also how it parallels to the comic books. And for the most part, it does. But I think they're changing certain aspects of the story, like Butch's
Well,
story and whatnot.
I think who it ends with being like a big surprise. I think in the comics she's that person's the opposite gender. But
Oh, Stormfront?
no. the head popper. I don't want to. I
Oh
don't know if
yeah,
it's the same.
yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
if
yeah.
it's
It
watched
is. You're,
it.
you're right. It's the opposite gender. Same with Stormfront. Stormfront originally is a dude in the comics, and now they made him female, and so there's things that they changed. A lot of things actually, quite a bit.
But
Not
I feel like it didn't really affect it drastically.
Yeah, I feel like they still have the same premise of the comic books and the same interest of the comics and everything they sort of introduced. And I was obsessed. I binged season one literally a day before season two. And that was like my first time watching season one. I was like, this is amazing.
Did you watch it with your parents?
I watched it. It was me, my dad, and my brother. We watched all of season one.
It
And then
could
my
get a little
brother,
awkward. I
yeah, my
remember someone
brother
walked
wanted
in
me
when I
to.
was watching.
My brother wanted me to wait till season two to watch it with him, like, but I couldn't. I was like, dude, I'm sorry, I gotta continue.
That's
and,
probably a good call.
and now they have the Mandalorian season two releasing October 30th. Oof, I'm excited.
Keeping you busy.
Yeah, it's keeping me busy with content to watch, maybe things to even talk about for the podcast.
I like it because it's like a different take on the superheroes, man. I feel like all these Marvel movies are following the same formula in a way, which I hear is supposed to get a little switched up, especially with Doctor Strange's sequel coming out. It's supposed to be a little more dark, so hopefully I'll check that out and it'll be pretty good. A good
Yes.
refresher in a way. Yeah, but have you been reading comics recently? Because I know we would go like maybe every once in a while. Free Comic Book Day, we'd go hit them up. But I know you're more on the older comics. I don't know about the new ones.
I haven't kept up with any comics recently. I've just kind of been in my own bubble of school, of college work and the podcast editing and getting possible new member of the podcast. So guys, keep a lookout. We got new people coming to the team. We're expanding. We'll mention. So I've been doing that, making sure we, interview, go through the process of figuring those people out, and my book project. So if I were you guys, I'd keep a eye out for that too. So I've been just kind of doing those sort of projects and stuff. So you've been reading new comics? What's going on?
Yeah, so recently had a guest that stayed with us for a little bit that is a very big Spider-Man fan. You can find him in the Guinness World Record for most Spider-Man items, and he kind of resparked the fire in me. So he bought me like a couple books just because he wanted to talk about some of them. Man, that stuff was like heroin for me. I was like, man, hey, you got any more of them books?
Any more recommendations?
Yeah, so he put me on to DC's, what do they call it? Heavy metal? Or it might have been just metal. It's like a little story arc it's pretty good. There's parts of it that I'm kind of like, you could have done without this cheesy stuff, but it's pretty good. I'm starting the sequel to it, which is Death Metal, I want to say it's called. With that, I set up a subscription for Batman, which just had its Joker War story arc, which was pretty good. I need to backtrack and read some of the prior ones. I'm just waiting for like the graphic novel collections of them. I'll probably just scoop those up because it would be a lot of work to try to go to every comic store, try to find every single issue up to like 95.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because I want to say it's on like 101, maybe. It's the latest issue.
Holy moly.
Oh, dude. I mean, I also set up a subscription to Spider-Man, which they've reset the numbers, but the story is still continuing. So I still got to read 49, which is actually 850. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good time for comics right now, just with all the stories I've been reading. The Flash's story, I haven't got into it, and so I've just kind of mainly focused on the stuff I've subscribed to. Oh, Rorschach has a new series coming out.
Wait,
I just got the first
from
issue.
Watchmen?
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. That's what I said too. The comic book shop I go to, they actually have like this this app that you could kind of like place your orders on it and stuff like that. But with this app, they give you recommendations. They're like, "Hey, check this out." So man, it's just been making me spend all kind of money because I was like, "Oh, that does sound like a really good story. Let me just put it on order." And it is that thing too, where like since it's online, you don't have the sense of cash, kind of. So you're just
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, just throw it in the cart. I'll get it."
Hey.
'Cause I mean, comics generally go for like $4 or $5. It's not gonna kill you doing it once a month, but they do have an issue every once in a while that might be $10 just because it's the annual or something like that or the special. Um, so if you're not careful enough, it'll sneak up on you.
Dude, digital purchases, man. So I have a bit of an addictive personality, right? So recently, you know me, I've been playing a lot of Warzone or whatever. I'm currently switching over games, okay? Because new Call of Duty's coming out. I got to get prepped or whatever for the new COD. And I know I say it's the same old formula, and yet I go in for it, right? I get dragged back in. But if I could touch on that new beta real quick, it was a lot more relaxed of a Call of Duty than this last Call of Duty that came out. There's no one-hit wonder weapons or the new meta, essentially. The weapons, yeah, there are some that are used, but fairly the weapons are nicely switched up where you can have several different attachments and stuff like that. So made for good gameplay. Anyway, so new Warzone's coming out. I've been kind of getting myself into like the new character skins of the game. So like I'll see this cool character skin. I'm like, it's cool, and I'll get that character skin. Then I'll get another. I'm just like, I've been kind of falling into that trap. Now with the new season ending, I'm chilling out. I'm like, you know what? Season 6, I'm cool. It wasn't that cool. Like I'm gonna chill out with the character sort of packs that I'm buying. So I chilled out. All right, I'm not into it as much, but I found myself falling into that trap, like you're saying, like because it's like you're thinking e-money, right? You're like, it's whatever. Like I get it real quick. That's fine. And I mean, to be fair, I have put about 13 days into the game of Warzone specifically. So, I mean, it's not like I'm not getting my money's worth where I'm not playing as often. But I mean, it's character skins. Like, I shouldn't be spending consistently on that. So, my point is, I very much understand what you're saying where you're just buying and not even thinking about it.
Well, they also it's fairly inexpensive if you just get one, right?
Yeah, you just get one. It's pretty cheap, and you're like, all right, cool. Maybe there's like a 2 character packs that you thought were pretty decent, like a new weapon pack where you get tracer rounds or something cool that just makes the game experience that much cooler when it comes to the look of it. And I like customization, I like personalization for things, so I'm always big on that. Like I was telling you, Junior, that I bought like a D brand skin for my phone. It's like because I like the customization of things. And so yeah, I kind of got into that whole mess recently. And not a mess because like I said, I feel it's semi well spent because I play the game a lot and you can use these character skins for the next game. So it's not just stuck off at this game and I wasted my money and a new game comes out and then I can't use them. So as for buying any more character skins, no, I'm done. Like I
That's
don't
what
want
you say
to.
now.
Yeah, but I don't want to get drafted into getting this character skin, that character skin, especially when I can use them for the new game. Like I don't have any need for carrying them over. So I gotta tell my brain no more. But yeah, no. My point is I could sympathize with getting into online purchasing and not even paying attention to what you're getting, or like you are, but it's just like it's right there, or it's on sale. You see, and you just end up
Yeah.
getting it, like the phone. I'm like, it's just like one click away. Like I got it.
I might just have to trade in and they'll give me a deal.
You're not necessarily looking at the overall money in your hand, so it's not tangible. You're not thinking about it. Which I mean, it's been a topic for I think quite a while. Is the idea of just getting a new something and not having that tangible money, the sort of uh, bad implication that you'll just be spending like crazy.
Yeah, and even just now in the situation we're in, these little things we buy just bring us momentary joy, since we can't find it anywhere else.
Yeah. So I interested in the man who has the most. What would you say? Is that considered paraphernalia? The amount of Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah.
Did he show you some pictures? Tell you some new things? Like, how did that go? Was that overall experience that were you a little bit hyped? Because I know you're a Spider-Man fan. Like we know this. That's
Yes. Well, this is I met him a while back, and I always say Shazam's my favorite character just because I never really, I don't know, it seems weird to say Spider-Man's just because of how mainstream he is and all that. And especially if I'm going to meet this guy who I met, I don't know, maybe a year or two back, and just being like, "Hey, I really like Spider-Man." If he's like, "Oh yeah, well, what about this issue? Blah, 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 I got all this," but he's not like that. So
yeah.
once you get over that in your own head, it's kind of like, oh yeah, we could just chat about random comics and whatnot.
Yeah, like I collect comics and stuff, but the random issues, like I don't pay attention to any of that stuff. I'm like, oh, it's an interesting story. Like I remember reading about Ironmonger, which was he was the villain of the first Iron Man movie, and I don't even know the issue of it. Just I'm geeky, but like I can't step into that realm of detail because that's just too much for me. So I'll know facts in certain comics that the characters did appear in, but that's about it. So like favorite, so Shazam. Did you like the Shazam movie? I don't know if we ever discussed
I
it.
haven't. That's what's funny too is I'm a self-proclaimed big Shazam fan, but I've never seen the movie.
What? I thought it was DC did a good job. Despite all their failures, they did a good job. They got a new Batman film. Are you excited for that?
Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty excited.
I was skeptical at first because
Me
Robert
too.
Pattinson, this dude, like uh, Twilight, I think is the first thing I think about, and I'm just like, and then I'm like, does he really have the look and the body type for Batman? I'm like, and then when he officially, now pulled up the role and we're able to see the trailer, I'm very excited what they're doing with this Batman because it feels very down to earth in the way that it's like back to its roots, its detective sort of dark roots, and that's what I like most about Batman, and I think that's what most people like about Batman.
That's actually funny. Um, so like I remember me and this guy were gonna go hit up some comic shops, and I I was always hesitant to buy anything except Batman. If it was Batman, I'm like, all right, cool, I'll grab it. And then I'll sit in the car and I'm like, you know what? Batman might be my favorite superhero because I'll hesitate to buy any other, uh, say Amazing Spider-Man or something. I didn't set up the subscription right away. I wanted to read a couple issues, but Batman, I was like, yeah, just throw me in there. I want the subscription.
He's very well known, but he's good. I like his comics. They're very, like I said, they're very gritty. I like the grittiness of
Yeah.
it. And but I would say out of DC, my favorite DC character is Nightwing. I mean, come on, he's
Oh,
got
that's
the
right. That's right.
sticks and he's got the fighting and he was Robin, but he's better.
I
um,
He's actually had a interesting story arc where the Court of Owls kind of, what is it? They like wiped his brain so that they can make
ooh,
him their assassin. And I kind of want to read into it. I don't know much about it.
that sounds very unique. That sounds like a unique story that like kind of has me hyped, which also brings me to, and I talked with Tyler about this. Did you hear about the new Batman game, Arkham Knights?
I think so, but I don't know too much about it.
So I got you. Have you ever played any of the Batman games that had released, the Arkham Origins or Arkham Asylum, any of those games?
I think Arkham Asylum, but it's, I don't know. I just couldn't get into it as much.
Well, you might get it. The combat is spectacular for that game. The detectiveness pretty spectacular for those games. An interesting story, but I felt the same, right? Like after Arkham City, I found myself I would only play it if I was in the mood for it. And for Arkham Knight, I haven't even touched it because I don't know. It needs something new. And now the Arkham Knight is a cooperative Batman game where you can choose from Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing, Red Hood, and it's really cool because you have like the full city. It's like open world, right? And it's just like Arkham Knight, except you get these motorbikes that you get to drive, and I don't know. I think that would be a cool experience. And you being a Batman fan, who knows? That might be the one game you
Maybe.
might be interested in getting. I mean, it just because it looks like, and it seems like such a solid game
Yeah, you guys
to.
keep trying to get me to buy games, even when they're free. Like Astroneer became free on Xbox Game Pass, I believe.
I
I
know.
still won't pull the trigger.
Hey, at least get Rogue Company and Among Us. I got Tyler to play it. Like, come on, super fun. Great party game. Hey, you could even get your fiance to play with us. It's that's how fun of a game and inclusive of a game. Not Rogue Company, but Among Us is. Rogue Company would probably just be a me and you game. But yeah, no, like so who knows? You might step into it, but Batman definitely that game. I'm excited for that one. As for that, I mean nothing new. Cyberpunk, another cool game, single player.
Is it still delayed?
No, one of their marketing campaigns was no more delays.
Nice.
Or not campaign, but like one of their marketing ads
Marketing
was yeah,
strategy
yeah.
or slogan.
It was like no more delays. It's coming out, and so I got that one on pre-order as well because that one generally seems fairly interesting, fairly new concept. It's a game I would sit there and play by myself. A lot of games that I'd gotten as of recent were like cooperative, but like I said, not no one ever plays cooperative games. All my other friends play COD, and it's just like so it's so sad. So I've been looking for new single player, haven't really found much. Rogue Company's fun. It's a blast, but it sucks when you're just by yourself every once in a while. You're like, eh. But because I'm good at it, it makes up for it. So your favorite superhero, you would say, is between Shazam and Batman?
It probably. I
All
mean,
right.
it might be just a tie between Shazam, Batman, and Spider Man.
Yeah, my
Which
favorites.
Spider Man? I don't know.
Yeah.
I really like Miles. They actually just um might be like 18 issues in now for like his newest series. I think they're gonna try to make this one stick because the other ones they kind of rebooted.
He also has a game coming out as well,
Yeah, I
which
saw
is
that.
exciting too.
If you
It's
have a
PS5.
PS, yeah,
Yeah. It's kind of disappointing, but still cool that they're developing a game for him, especially so early on. Yeah, no, I think my favorite superheroes when it comes to Marvel, I got a couple. It's got to be Iron Man, got to be Captain Marvel, and Punisher. Captain Marvel's fairly recent, but I found her to be really cool, a cool character when I decided to like look her up more. And I don't have any Captain Marvel comic books, but I want them now. As for Punisher, he's always been one of my. He used to be my top two, but now it's Captain Marvel or Iron Man and Captain Marvel. And then Iron Man, he's been my favorite superhero since I was 4 years old. So I'm not hopping no bandwagons. Nope, always been my favorite. I've always had comics of him since I was like 8. I've had comics for him. Um,
where does
and
that love come from though?
the love of Iron Man. So I loved when I first seen him I seen him in this old 80s cartoon way back when I was a kid, when I was like 4. And I loved his suit. His suit of armor was like the coolest thing alive. And the fact that like it did so many different things, and I'm into like sci-fi gadgetry and stuff, which is another reason why Captain Marvel is one of my favorites, is because she has to deal with a lot of space and space-based villains. That's kind of where my love for Iron Man comes from. And then I fell in love with War Machine when I started reading comics about him and seeing him as a character. I thought he was pretty awesome as well. So that's where that sort of love came from. And as for when you get to DC, Nightwing, I'm like Nightwing all the way. He's such a cool character because I mean, he was in the shadows of Batman essentially because he was Robin, right? It was, I believe, it's Dick Grayson becomes the Nightwing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when he becomes Nightwing and like steps into his own, it's like Batman, but just different, right? Like, cause he's more agile, I feel, and he's not as gritty, but he's still fairly interesting. Oh, and it's worth to note, just because my brain jumped real quick, the Court of Owls is the main protagonist in Arkham Knights. So
Ah, cool.
the,
Actually, I want to say there might be a movie coming out, an animated movie.
with the Court of
Or it might
Owls,
have been
yeah,
I can't
I
remember.
I believe there is, and also there people are believing that they might be sort of, they're hoping that they're the next big antagonist for these new Batman movies, because apparently they're supposed to sort of take the Batman and character villains like that weren't used in any of the movies. So like the first one's Riddler, and they're just doing him a better justice. And you got Penguin, and so it's not following the villains that were in the series of the Dark
Christopher
Knight
Nolan.
series. Yeah, Christopher Nolan. So that's exciting that they're doing something new with it.
Yeah.
But those are our super favorite superheroes and our interesting comic reads.
Let
If-
us know what yours are.
Yeah, let us know what yours are. And Junior, if you have any more suggestions, I'm sure he'll bring some up, as I think that would be fairly interesting and dive a little bit more deeper in the conversations about comic book stuff. And with that said, though, thank you for listening. We might be a little over time. I don't know. I gotta see. But with that said, guys, again, thank you so much for listening. Please give us a like, give us a comment. Any of these topics, you have some tidbits, we want to hear them. And yeah, link is always in the description for our link tree. Our social media, all our platforms are on there. Make sure to check out our sponsors. And with that said, we love you. Bye.